I am David. I'm the crusty old merchant. Been in the Shopify ecosystem since 2013 when I migrated my own small little brand from Magento to this new platform called Shopify Plus. I feel like I was a guinea pig. Fast forward a number of years and Ambaum and Chad became my development partner. Since exited my business and thought, heck, I got a lot of scar tissue for other merchants. So
I'm Chad. I'm the CEO, founder of Ambaum. Shopify Plus, development agency, been in the Plus ecosystem for 7 years. A fan of Toby, Shopify, and everything that's going on in this space. So with that.
Hi guys, I'm James Van Erk. So I'm co-founder of Rebuy and chief operating officer. So I have also been in the e-commerce space for quite a while. The other co-founder is John, and John and I happen to be brothers and have worked together for quite a long time. And went all in over the last couple of years, and Rebuy has been a lot of fun to build and a lot of fun to work with some of the amazing merchants and agency partners that are able to take Rebuy and really do some powerful creative things.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, the fact is a core Rebuy just works and you can kind of present a value proposition just from that. And I think that starts with that little secret squirrel convert one-time purchase into subscription is a huge hit. You know, the smart cart is always a huge hit. These are kind of like just table stakes, right? Like, so anytime you can find an app that checks a bunch of boxes, and when merchants just come back and say, yeah, like, what else can I do with it, right? Like, we kind of simplify it. We go in and we say, table stakes, it does this, this, and this. Let's get you on it. And then we'll basically start optimizing. It's just a purpose case scenario you guys do a fantastic job solving for. And I think through the lens of like, let's not have 4 apps do something. Let's kind of try to standardize and see if we can kind of solve some of these problems with 1 or 2 apps.
And if I were to add to that, I think product upsells is a big one, but bundling is another. In fact, just to sort of give ourselves a plug here, we wrote a bundling guide. One of the merchants that David's really close with, Premier Catch, didn't have a real complicated environment where they had a ton of scripts or anything like that. But it was a good use case. And in fact, we kind of documented a whole little walkthrough of like why they used you guys, and it was a good fit. So
yeah, bundling is wildly underleveraged, and I think it really starts with the merchant has to paint the picture that you should be purchasing multiple items together. Otherwise, you're leaving the customer up to figure this out on their own. Right. And so imagine you sell condiments, right? And you have peanut butter and jelly. And if you're making somebody go to the product page of peanut butter, and then you're making them go to the product page of jelly, and then you're going to make them go buy bread as well, right? Like, you make it a convenience factor by, pinning these together into what we call dynamic bundles. And then in a single button click, you're allowing 3 items to be added in a single go. And so I'm a big believer in the cookie jar phenomena. Like, if you put a cookie jar at the top of your shelving, right, you're not going to eat very many cookies. If you put the cookie jar right next to the door as you walk in and out, you're going to eat a lot more cookies. And it's simply a convenience factor. Like, you wanting cookies hasn't changed. It's just how easy is it to get. And so in e-commerce, that fact or phenomena you see all the time. And so by making it super easy to buy multiple items together, you see a certain subset of customers will actually purchase those items that you're framing together. One of my favorites is this mixture of AI and kind of human-driven merchandising. And so if you're a beauty company, you can do things like create bundles based on collections. So you might have earrings, you might have a necklace, and you might have a ring category. And you can create dynamic bundles that is one product from each of those collections. And then depending on which item the customer is looking at, you can start to allow the AI to select the best item out of each of those collections. And you're leveraging, computer power to automate what will be the best match or the best combination for that particular customer.
You know, the way I think of it today, like with bundles, they'll surface on the product detail page, maybe on the collection page. Does your smart cart technology take and suggest a bundle? Like, for example, if I added peanut butter to the cart, to say, well, you really wanted peanut butter, jelly, and bread, and then is that where you're headed? Can you do that right now? Like what?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our dynamic bundles primarily live on product pages.
Yeah.
So there's really kind of two different ways to tackle this. One is take your regular product page kind of under the main product buy box area. This is where you can surface, hey, instead of buying one thing.
Typical, implementation. Yep.
Others have leveraged the entire product page as the bundle. And so they're effectively removing product buy box and replacing it with a rebuy bundle. And so it looks like a single product that you're adding, but you're adding individual SKUs. And so that's the primary form. We do have upselling available, whether it's a pop-up on add to cart, or we have some creative folks that have wired this up into smart cart too. So if you put any item that happens to be part of a bundle, you can have a little card that shows up under the item that says, hey, do you want to swap the peanut butter for the peanut butter jelly bread combo? And then the single button click, remove the lower priced item or replace it with the bundled item. So
that's that'd be real nice.
Yeah, a lot of different ways to do this, and it kind of comes down to the experience you want to give the customer and kind of business and operating kind of guidelines. Some like individual SKUs, others like actual bundles that are then fulfilled as individual line items.
That business process part is actually like we gloss over it, but it's important, right? Like being able to quickly and dynamically create new bundles based upon a trend or a season without like picking up the phone, creating a new SKU at your 3PL, basically that ability to do something on the fly on the front end, oftentimes without even a developer. Granted, we'd like you to use developers in a lot of cases because we can do things pretty well. But doing that on the front end and being able to quickly do that without any interaction of 3PL or any breaks in the workflow is really, really important. But, I also think, there's a key part of that while, the discounting part, not everything's about a discounting, but when you create these bundles on the front end, you can really optimize things that make you more money, right? Like, how do we prepare a package that is 100% perfectly optimized for shipping, for example? Mm-hmm. And you're able to do that through this bundling logic and then pass those items individually through into the 3PL. So, whether you want to or not, you can kind of communicate that we've optimized this package and this set so we can ship it as effectively as humanly possible to you, the consumer. And by doing that, we're going to reduce that price and it's going to make it a lot cheaper. Those are just like little kind of opportunities that I think you could be really transparent with customers and allow them to get some of that benefit by basically taking your lead.
Yeah, and then of course Shopify has done a fantastic job creating a very high converting checkout page. Sweeten the deal with some offers along the way, and you've got a pretty robust checkout experience. From there, there's a lot of ways to graduate too, like bundling, buy more, save more in Smart Cart is just an absolute killer if you're selling kind of CPG or health and wellness, beauty stuff.
Yeah, to me, just to add on that, it's a little bit of a blank canvas, right? For a marketing person, it's all the tools you would need to get creative with finding that little white space within the customer journey to either upsell, to either hit them with a message, to introduce another product. But what it allows you to do is it allows merchants to say, I want to do something kind of like this. It's usually the first app we go to. Can we accomplish this in some meaningful way with Rebuy? It's very platform driven, right? And it feels like you can even get more creative with it through the APIs and through special kind of edge cases in terms of that journey, which is something that we really like. So it's one of the first tools that we pull out with our brands.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a Swiss Army knife, right?
Yeah.
I like how you kind of said optimized checkout to kind of distill down your core like value proposition, because there's so much that you can I was looking at your deck that you guys have for audits. can be a bit overwhelming, right? When you're kind of, especially if you sit as a merchant, we understand this stuff because we deal with it every day. You guys, it's your app. But when merchants kind of sit down, it can kind of be a little bit like, wow, where do I start? So I like that optimized checkout. But then what you guys have also done that what we've seen the really successful apps do is that they work laterally within the Shopify ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is really to become the most integrated personalization solution out there. I think one of the really powerful concepts that Shopify has really helped found is like this community aspect. And I think as merchants, you have a lot of great tools out there, and Shopify has kind of done a good job kind of lowering the barrier to entry for folks to build into the Shopify ecosystem. And so Rebuy's take on integrations is like, we really want to help empower the ecosystem, right? And there's a lot of data and things that Rebuy can do that can help, push data out or, be consumers of data. And so we kind of look at this as like, the major kind of app verticals. You have subscriptions, you have your email and SMS providers, the Klaviyo's and Attentives, mobile apps like TapCart. Subscriptions is probably a huge one. Smart Cart plays really well with all subscription providers, but the numbers can be pretty staggering. I think we see anywhere from 20 to 40% of new subscribers are being driven through this switch to subscription workflow, or whether it's in cart or on add to cart. And so you get the whole customer journey, but of course the customer journey doesn't stop with a purchase. That is just like the beginning of that next transaction and an ongoing relationship with the customer. And so Rebuy will integrate with Klaviyo and Attentive to push data to those systems so that you can make recommendations based on what somebody has recently purchased. You can link to Rebuy's reorder landing page, which makes reordering very frictionless and seamless. You can turn one-time purchasers into subscribers very easily. TapCart is another one that we see a lot of these kind of larger brands that are investing in mobile. See a lot of great results there as well.
To build on that, one that's really piqued my interest is Malamo, or I think I'm going to probably mutilate that name, but that's been a fantastic use case for how Rebuy can build and add value to those partners, right? Like, it just seems pretty simple on the surface, but it's a really unique way to kind of hit people back and market to people again. So how do you not get in other people's sandbox in a conflicting way, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are a give first type mentality, and we'd rather partner if applicable. I think at the end of the day, our mission is to create intelligent shopping experiences. Data is really kind of the currency for these e-commerce brands. It's the difference between Shopify and Amazon, right? Shopify, you own all the customer information and data. Amazon, you don't. And so we're kind of heads down, really focused on the merchandising side of the house.
Yeah, that's fascinating to hear. We've run an agency for a long time, and you guys, sounds like you were functionally running an agency if you were doing customer service work before you kind of founded Rebuy. The way you just described it is kind of like the app behind the app. Like, you guys have the front-facing features that a merchant can access, which are going to be beneficial to selling more. Really, what you just kind of went through there is, hey, merchant, not only are you going to get to do that, but like, we've strategically tried to partner with all these app companies, and we're kind of this like clearinghouse for data where we're ingesting, whether it's Klaviyo, recharge subscriptions, ShipStation, you're kind of taking, I know Shopify does that at their own level. Mm-hmm. But you guys are doing that, and you're taking it, and I don't know if I'm like stealing thunder from a future release or something like that, but like, that sounds like a really interesting play. If I'm a merchant, if I can sit back and look at like this massive dashboard, right? Because we met with David and I met with Cameron, your PhD you hired around machine learning and AI. That interests us as well, both David and I personally, and just our merchants, right? Like, if they know that you guys are kind of going after this sort of additional, layer, it'd be great to get into that.
Yeah, I mean, so the idea here is, if you are new to a store, you can start to have conversations with a shopping assistant that would be similar to what you would experience by walking into a retail store, right? You can be as open-ended and say, I need to buy a birthday gift for a 5-year-old. And then, the large language model starts to understand kind of the direction it needs to go and starts prompting and asking questions. Is it a boy or a girl? Are they into, Legos or Super Mario, right? And they can help find items that would be good matches through natural language. And then, the use of ML to power our upcoming search product is really exciting. So you basically have kind of two flavors of search: keyword matching, which is kind of a historic way of searching for products. And then you have vector-based searching, which opens the doors and allows for a little more accurate searching, synonyms, and fuzzy matching. So you get more accurate results out of the box. You don't have to spell things perfectly. You can find misspelled words, and it results in matches. And of course, we'll be layering in all of the Rebuy merchandising goodness to search, as well as a new way to drive revenue for your brand.
I think that just to kind of put a bow on everything we've talked about, I think most merchants would be better served to increase the velocity of their testing. And whether that's using Rebuy or a multitude of other apps, but installing the apps, even installing something like Rebuy and pushing the envelope. Because if you think about like the optimized checkout you talked about, you've got opportunities at basically the homepage, or the collection page, product detail, cart, checkout, post-purchase. In fact, post-purchase, if I were to label one of the areas of that entire funnel, is the biggest miss for all of our merchants. Like, they all focus on that front component, and even the recommendations. David, I bet we hardly even talk to. It's funny. I hardly ever have conversations about it. We should. The fact that we do it, that's a huge opportunity. But if I were to circle back, I think it's just that testing and that velocity of testing. I think that with apps like Rebuy, it gives them such an opportunity to iterate and really get out there and quickly learn. Because whether you're building a bundle, putting in an upsell, integrating with Klaviyo, you're basically throwing stuff against the wall, and you need to figure out what works. And then once you figure out what works, you just hammer down and keep working at it.
Yeah, I would probably echo that. And, kind of a growing trend of don't just install another app for some little edge case, like figure out how you can kind of harness the power of what you already have to reduce some of the conflicts and some of the missed opportunities. And I think Rebuy is a perfect partner for that. And like what you said, like just do something and start iterating. And, it sounds a little bit cavalier, but go throw some noodles against the wall. Just starting, just get in the game is kind of the thing, right? Like, because all these things that you're talking about with AI and with learning and with the segmentation, all those things are going to start bubbling up even more than they already are right now. So half of the challenges and the opportunity is just getting in the game and starting to build that data and building that cadence of testing and iterating, and then that constant feedback loop and doing it over and again. So
yeah, I think it all boils down into like really doing the basics well. So like having great product pages, working with agencies like Ambaum to build like these great experiences, and leveraging tools like Rebuy to really help optimize traffic. So you're helping folks to find the products that they want or need. I like to liken this to, you go shopping at Target, you walk through the cereal aisle, you grab a box of cereal, you put it in your cart, and you look up, like the store shelves have rearranged and the milk's right there. It's like, yep, that's where I was going next, right? Put the milk in and rearranged, and it's like, oh, here's your new bowl set. You're like, I didn't know that I needed that, but you know what? That's a pretty cool looking bowl set. You put that in the cart. And so, brands work super hard to either buy or acquire customers, and giving these great digital experiences and helping to streamline that purchase process through checkout, post-purchase really allows brands to accelerate and invest, more back into their customers and their acquisition efforts as well.
Yeah, thanks, James. Yeah, appreciate you jumping on with us.
Thank you guys. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm happy to play a part in this, and thanks for the invite.